Okay. Hi, everybody. Happy Black History Month. Happy February. My glasses are kind of crooked. I'm literally waiting for my eyeglass kit to come in as we speak. But let me invite Rachel. Rachel's going to be joining us in a moment. We're going to be talking about the lady that thinks she's married to Tyler Perry. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. As you know, I have made a recent switch to focus on mental health awareness, particularly in the Black community and especially with women of color. That this will be a perfect time to kind of jump back in the game and talk about um, okay. I don't know what Facebook's doing. It's trying to add Rachel. Okay, there we go.
Oh, they was trying not to let me be
Right.
great.
Right. I'm like, what is going on?
Ninjas
So,
can't hold me back.
yeah, so I kind of already did the intro of what we're going to be talking about today. Thank you, everybody that has joined us. I see Avianda from the Pink Monsters with us. Hey, Miguel. Hey, Elder. Hey, Mary. He like, hey, girl. So, everybody, again, this is Rachel Simone of Rachel Simone Media. We tag teamed on a Facebook Live before. Huh?
I say, I'm glad you can see because I can't really see their names.
Oh. I already shouted you out, Miguel, but thank you for watching. But yeah, so today we're going to talk about the lady that thinks she's married to Tyler Perry. So Rachel watched the show. I didn't get a chance to watch the show because I don't have a TV really. Like we have a TV in the living room, but like we use it for like streaming Netflix. I don't have regular TV. And I tried to like rely on the internet, Black Twitter, somebody to live stream this show because usually you're able to find like TV episodes immediately. But I haven't been able to find it yet. So Rachel is going to definitely be helping lead this discussion because I honestly want to know like what is going on with this. So can we start out by you just letting us know what you saw yesterday?
Okay, so I did do my research. So here's the thing. It's a lady who's claiming to be married to Tyler Perry. She's been essentially it's a catfish. Long story short.
Right.
It's a catfish, and she's been talking to someone that's been claiming to be Tyler Perry. She's been sending him money. He has somehow, well, this person, because it could be a woman, we're not 100% sure. This person behind the computer has convinced her that her first child, that he's the father of her first child, although they've never had sex, they've never met each other. So she thinks that Tyler Perry is the father of her oldest daughter. And yeah, she's just completely convinced that everything she's doing, like her daughters have been researching and looking up things. So I did my research. This is actual thing. It's called erotomania. So it's a delusion that occurs when a person strongly believes, despite evidence to the contrary, that a person is in love with him or her. And it's usually a person of a higher status. So in the research that I did, it just really talks to my Lord. It talks about how
that's how it was,
right. They have created this delusion. So it comes from depression, schizophrenia, these types of things lead up to them. And as crazy as it sounds, these things happen really every day on a level.
Well, I just want to like cut in and say, I didn't even research because I figured one of us would eventually. But I wanted to research too what it could be. The first thing I thought was mania. I knew it was some type of mania. I just didn't get that far in my research because I'd be going to sleep early, y'all. So I was sleeping like 8 o'clock, but because of like my body during the week. But like I just off of what I know for mental health and the different conditions you can have. I'm very well versed in like the different conditions you can have schizophrenia because I used to have to do school projects on it, and I've always been interested in this type of stuff. So I knew it was some type of mania. I didn't know which one it was, and so I'm really glad that you did that research because I just learned something. What's it called? What's it called again?
It's erotomania, erotomania.
Erotomania.
And they said it's more common in women too. That was something I also found really interesting. Essentially from my reading, it was really saying that there's really not any treatment for it because you almost can't convince these people of anything differently. And again, as crazy as we think it is, we see this stuff every day. We see people get catfish every day because their need and want to be loved is so great. And also my research talked about how social media plays a part in this too.
Oh yeah.
When you see people who are always, and it's one thing to have your celebrity crush. Like nobody's trying to take away your fantasy. Hey, I freaking love Rihanna. I don't want anybody to take that away from me either.
Girl,
but it comes
Rihanna's
to a point,
my cousin.
Right. Well, you know, we ain't cousins, you know, that's my boo thing. But it comes to a point where you see these men and these women who are willing to pay these Instagram models so they can spend, people are paying people to spend time with them. And we don't see an issue with that. We're so thirsty and we're not confident enough in ourselves, and we really don't love ourselves enough that we're willing to pay people to spend time with us. And this is beyond fantasy. This is not, oh, you enjoy the strip club, a little stripper scene. These people are doing crazy stuff.
I literally want to cut in to that point. But there's so many regular people, like getting away from this lady, that I literally see do that. They buy their friends. It's like, you ever know people? Because I know people. You ever sit back and really think like, I wonder if these people will hang out with you if you wasn't doing something for them. Because it seems like there's always people around when you're only doing something for them. You get what I'm saying? Right. So imagine how many people actually do that. Like that don't, and like you said, it ties back to something deeper. It always does. You know, but I know a lot of people that I feel like they buy their friends for sure. Like, who's really your
everybody friend? Else, you know, my guilty pleasure is loving hip hop. I haven't given up on it yet. I'm still watching it. But these people, but the women on there are a perfect example. Because we see you talking about self-love. People think that because you're confident and that you're pretty, but when you really pay attention to these people's behavior, it's a lot of self-destructive behavior. The men that they with. You know, people always say, I'm always finding a bad man. No, it's you. It's because you're attracting bad energy because that's what you have, because you really don't love yourself. And then we turn to the internet because it gives us a false sense of security. It makes us feel good. You know, if we were really that confident, we wouldn't take 20 selfies until we got the right run. This is who I am. This is what I look like. This is the selfie. When I wake up, this is what I take. I shouldn't have to figure out 10, 20 different angles. And I'm not saying that that's just everybody's just out here, whatever, but those are things you have to pay attention to. When you can only post, you know, the made up photos, when you can only post your model pictures and all of that. And even I'm really learning a couple friends of mine that people are photoshopping just everyday photos. Like, now I got a bun and whatever. And it's like, it's apps where you can Photoshop that. And I'm thinking like, I'm trying to find out these girls' skin regimen, and it's an app. But
no, like seriously, really and people, but you're absolutely right. People do that. I mean, people use it even in their branding. Like, they literally edit everything. And it's so funny because, like, I always wonder, like, what people's perception is of me. Because I just made a status about it. I'm like, I literally, like, usually don't put on no type of nothing until the weekend. I'll be bumming it up during the week. Like, because that's too much. It's just too much. But, like, even right now, I only just shaded in my eyebrows. I always wonder if people think I have on foundation. This is actually my skin. I just have really good skin. But because so many people like do, you know, I think that people probably don't even realize like who actually is like wearing makeup and who ain't wearing makeup.
They don't. And it's so people always want to just charge it to, oh, it's just the internet, or it's just things. But and I mean, going back to like just watching Catfish the show, I still watch it and I'm still amazed that and when we talk about words, when we really talk about that, people are only falling in love with words. If you've never met a person, if you've never physically been able to, you know, have any connection, I'm not saying sex per se, but even just touch them or hug them, the only thing you have is their words. And people try to act like words don't matter or they're not that big of a deal when people are literally giving their lives. Like this lady with this Tyler Perry, she's literally given up her whole life. I mean, sending tens of thousands of dollars to this person simply because she wants to just feel good. And so many of us are in that moment. We don't understand. When I look at people's statuses, and I posed this question a while ago, that why when people, tragedy is usually a big one. When they go through something, the first thing they do is reach out to Facebook. And a lot of responses I got from people was because they felt like they had nobody else.
Right.
And to some extent, I can understand that, but that's a big problem for me as well. When you have to reach out for false sense of security and love and self-awareness, we have a really huge problem. And we want to laugh at all these things. And I'm like, most of the people are laughing are a part of it as well. You're doing the same thing. You know, we see these men that always on these women's photos because they just want to feel some sort of love from some woman, whether she's bad or not. They're looking for something, and we gotta
hoping you respond back. That's really good. So I I want to point out, like, you're a writer and I'm a writer. I'm always conscious of that, of how big our job on this earth really is, because words to me do mean everything. Even though we want to say like, oh, well, I don't mean nothing, I'm gonna wait till I see someone's actions. Words create things. Words are a part of creation. So to all the other writers out there, like anybody that writes, that's in media, with any type of whatever type of content marketing you do, the messages that you put out in the universe are very important because they become impressions upon people, and people will either listen to what you're saying or not, but they're going to listen to somebody, so just to even go back to catfish, I actually did research on catfish. I was watching it at work one day and I was just like, you chuckle at it and I'm like, this is kind of funny, like you said, how is this still on TV? And then, like, how
it's
you
like funny, but it's not funny.
So I had to research it, right? Because it's like you don't want to laugh. So did you know that the catfish actually reaches out to the show, but they make it seem like the person that's being catfished does, but the person that actually reaches out to the show is the person that's catfishing the person.
Because I think at some point you get to the point where you just can't keep up with your lives.
Yeah.
You get so engulfed in these things, and that's why everybody's going crazy. It's the same concept here. We're convincing ourselves of something that we're not. We're convincing ourselves that we're happy when we're not. I see women over and over and over again talk about how confident they are and how all of these things. If you're confident, you don't have to tell me that.
Exactly.
You never have to tell me. I see some women and I feel like now that I'm confident, when I walk in a room, besides the fact that I'm 5'9", but I say 5'10" to sound better. No matter what I have on, people are attracted to me because I feel confident no matter what. I don't have to tell people. I don't have to walk in a room and take a picture and say, yeah, I'm feeling confident today. Because if you already have it, you have it. That's how I know people really aren't confident in themselves and really everything that they do. And I'm seeing this behavior so much, and people... my thing is you got to watch your mouth in 2018. You can't say whatever you want to say to people. You just can't do whatever you want to do to people. People get killed over words. That's a real thing.
For sure.
And when you're falsely advertising yourself and your love for people, people are really willing to die for love. Like, people don't understand that. And that's a problem to me.
What people don't understand also on the opposing side is that everything that they're looking for in the world, they actually already have within themselves. And they just refuse to understand that. Like Avianda said earlier in the broadcast, self-love. Like, you have to know how to be by yourself. Everything that we're looking for to validate who we are is already within us. If you can't find it within you, you're not going to find it out there. And that's where that disconnect happens, because people get mad. I'm reading the 4 Agreements right now, for instance, right? Very good book, not telling me nothing that I didn't already come to the conclusion of, but a good reminder book, because, for instance, chapter 2 talks about not taking things personally, and understanding and not jumping to conclusions. And I live by those 2 things. I've been living by those 2 things for a long time, because I think that a lot of us do take things personally. We want stuff to be about us all the time. And like, my mom even just was talking to me the other day, like, she's like, I know that's like something bad that I have. She was saying that about herself. Like, she's like, I take stuff personal. Like, I know I'm not supposed to, but I mean, it's good to even be able to be aware of it, because then you could try to start catching yourself. But that's the issue that most of us have. We want everything to be about us, when even down to the way that somebody treats us. If somebody's treating you shitty, a lot of times it don't have nothing to do with you, and more so to do with them, something that they're going through.
We have to stop trying to blame everybody for the choices that we make. We're not aware. I tell people, you got a 2-time rule. The first time you do something to me, I didn't know you were going to do that. I do believe in second chances, because a lot of people in my life have given me second chances. My friends, my parents, things of that nature. The second time, that's on you. Anytime after that, that's on me.
Yep.
You can't continue to let people treat you like that and then try to say, well, it's because I'm nice. No, it's because you want to feel nice, because that makes you feel good. You're not really being nice to me. It's just a good badge to wear. People want to wear the nice badge thinking it. And I tell people all the time, anybody that always say I'm too nice, or it's only a couple of people where I can consider, and I see she watched it. I hope she don't kill me. But my cousin Janae, me and her were good best friend. We are just one of my best friends. I tell people all the time, she's one of the nice people that I know. But at some point, she did realize, like, people are taking advantage of me. But that's a personal thing you gotta realize. And I start realizing, people, like, anytime you do something for somebody out of love, and they have to constantly remind you about that, then that's not really where they at.
Yeah,
that's from those people. So people talk about being self-aware and doing those things, but they're not aware of themselves because they refuse to sit in reality. It's hard to sit and look at yourself, because I had to do that. Like, girl, you've been fucking up. Not your mama, not your dad, not your friends, none of that. That's on you. The stuff things that have happened in my life wasn't because I was with this certain person, or because, well, it was, but it's because I was not confident in myself and I was attracting the things that I was. It's not because every person I dated was bad, or my friends wasn't this or that. It was because I wasn't whole and I wasn't right in myself. And people we're so far gone that we can't even see that. And we are going crazy. Not everybody is schizophrenic or depressed or anxious yet, but we're getting there. Literally, everybody's gonna be there. So when we see all these news stories and everybody's like, you want to blame it on mental illness. Yeah, girl, because that's exactly what it is. Look at your behavior. Look at the things that you do and the things that you say to people. If you're that person, because I used to be that person. Oh, you couldn't say nothing to me. You hear me? I took everything personal because I wasn't good with myself, because I was depressed, because I was doing shit that I shouldn't be doing. I was into stuff that I shouldn't be into. And y'all find out in my book. Shameless plug. I'm just saying.
Well, we're gonna make sure we get that book, because we need to find out so we can understand.
Ooh, y'all gonna be like,
you
girl,
more.
You did
what? We gotta appreciate you more and go back in time with you so we can find out.
You know what opened me up? This was a couple years ago. It was my first girlfriend, ex-girlfriend of mine. Ran it back into each other, and you know how it is when you can't let stuff go, because you just can't let stuff go because we don't know how to do that. And she said to me, she said, I only did what you allowed me to do. And my instant reaction was to be pissed off. Then I thought, like, damn, girl, you right. And
that's
from that moment
on,
I stopped allowing people just to do whatever I want
that's
to,
what
and I started working on myself. Like, people aren't hurting you because, well, it's like the flip side. You're still kind of messed up for doing the fuck shit. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, you still got stuff for doing that. However, we have a choice to separate ourselves from people. We have a choice to do that. But we're not making those choices because we're not confident enough, and our mental state is not. We're not prepared for it.
And that's what it is. And I want to cut in and piggyback off that, because I talk about that in my book, and that's really what the conclusion of the book was. Yes, I went through all these things, but I have to also acknowledge where I was responsible in the situation. You can't be a victim all the time and just be like, why everybody always doing me shitty? Because I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, that's how I used to feel. Like, even to this day, sometimes I be wanting to go, but then I'm like, it ain't about me. It ain't about me.
It's
like,
not.
Just keep it moving, because at the end of the day, everything is always going to be okay. And we make stuff worse than what it actually really is. It all definitely comes back to the way that you think about things. Everything is connected to your mental. So, I mean, that's exactly what it is. Like your ex-girlfriend said, I only did what you let me do. So I love being 28, like, 29. But it's the truth. We hate to hear the truth. Everybody swear they real, but they don't like hearing the truth for real, though. But I love being 28. I know you're 30 now, so you know, like, when you 30. Happy birthday, girl. When you get older, you start to realize these things, and I'm so grateful for getting older, because I understand now, and I understand that I don't have to do nothing that I don't want to do. I don't have to do nothing I want to do. I ain't got to explain nothing to nobody. I know my worth, so.
On why you're yes, I have to tell my mom, so we have to self-reflect on why you being called a baby mama. Oh yeah, well, we have our discussion on that. That's a whole another thing.
That's coming real soon.
I wish I could say that it was because I got older. But that's not it. I see old ass people doing the same thing. It was
very
because
true.
I woke up, and not like I'm woke. Like, I woke up and I got tired of being in situations that I shouldn't be in. I got tired of people treating me. I got tired of being depressed. I got tired of being anxious. Well, I still have my anxiety now, but it's more anxiety.
Me too. Yeah,
anxiety, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to get to the point, like, in 2010, I tried to commit suicide. Can't nobody stop me. Let me be clear. You can't do nothing to me. So many people, don't make it out of that. And even if they survive that attempt, they still can't get forth. I bounced back so many times, and then I started realizing, like, a lot of people, like you said, a lot of stuff that people do, it ain't had nothing to do with me. I'm not a bad person. I wasn't doing certain things to people. It had nothing to do with me, but I started allowing people to make me feel like, damn, maybe I am mean. Maybe I am this, because I was taking care of myself. And that's what a lot of people get into. They get into these emotionally and mentally abusive relationships, and not just your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friends, unfortunately, your parents sometimes. I know we want our parents to be, and this is not my situation. My parents are really, really great. Like anybody that knows my parents, like for real. But I see it. People always like, well, I just wish my mom would do this. Unfortunately, sometimes your mom might not be able to be that person for you. You can't continue to allow people to just do whatever you want to, you know, whatever they want to you. And then it's just like, well, I'm just trying to, like, no, you got to get out. We gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to be with somebody all the time. You don't need to be.
But
I used to be that person. When I was younger, 18, 19, 20, I had to have friends. And I had long-term friends, and they were at college at during that time.
Yeah.
But I had to be around people. I could never go anywhere by myself. And you have to look at that. Look at that pattern of your friends. Like, girl, you can't never go to movies by yourself.
Right.
You can't go do this. You can't sit at home for an hour. Everybody always got to be busy. For what?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to sit in your reality about who you are. Because that's hard to do.
It starts where you just said, because I had that moment as well, where you get tired. And I tell people, you know, you will eventually get tired. And that's when stuff will change. So you're right. It does start with, you know what? I'm literally tired of doing the same. I'm tired of the same thing happening. And they always say that God will make you go through the same thing until you learn the lesson. I'd have definitely been on a merry-go-round with the same type of like, and that's
I gotta learn my lessons the hard way. God be like, oh, I tried to give you the easy way out. Now,
right.
now I gotta do the most. Now I gotta
really what I can do. It's even right now, currently, like I'm going through that currently, where it's like you literally just walk right into this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just without even saying too much. Seriously. And all you can do is take accountability, because we always know before we enter into certain situations that there's a possibility. If it crossed your mind, then 9 times out of 10, it crossed your mind for a reason. So you can't really be surprised when it actually happens. We want to be disappointed, but it's like, I mean, you know, like it ain't like you ain't know that was a possibility. And I feel like it crosses your mind for a reason. Like that's your intuition, you know. And so I try not to be, what do you call that? I was reading Joyce Meyer's book, Having a Paranoid Mindset, because that's what I try not to look at things from that level. But you have to be able to understand that sometimes there is a reason why you're thinking certain things, and if you keep coming back to that conclusion, that's probably what it is. You know what I mean? So it's just I'm so big on being just self-aware and just learning yourself first, because I think that it'll help you get through situations better if you're like very aware of who you are as a person. If you don't know who you are as a person,
aware. They want to claim that they are because they know their favorite color and their favorite movie and all that other kind of crap that doesn't matter. People do not pay attention to the emotions and the feelings and the things that matter. They care too much about everybody else, everything else, because again, you don't want to sit in that reality. Looking at yourself like, oh girl, you depressed. Yeah, you got anxiety. Yep, you've been making bad decisions with men. It's easy to blame people for everything. It's easy. That's the easy way out. It's easier to blame your parents for not doing this. That's why I tell people, like, you gotta let them daddy issues go. You're gonna be mad. You're not gonna be able to foster any relationship because you're holding on to a 30-year anger from your daddy or for something your mother didn't do. I can't use that as an excuse for you. And like people are that's one specific thing for people with me, because it's like, well, my parents have been married for 40 years in June. But that doesn't mean that I don't have personal issues. That doesn't mean that you don't need to let that stuff go. People don't know how to let these things go, and it's tarnishing their lives and their relationships. You can't keep a man because you still holding on to something that at this point doesn't even matter. Deal with it and move on. But people want to hold on to things because it's easier way to still be a victim.
Yeah, people like to be the victim. I was about to say too.
It's fun, and it's people love you and they're nice to you.
Yeah, it makes me look like a good person because I'm a victim.
Yeah, like I'm a good person and bad things are happening to me. Pastor Kim, like my old pastor, Pastor Mark used to say, there's no such thing as good people. And I believe that to a certain extent. We're all just trying to figure it out, but we're trying to hold on to something that's not who we are. I'm good being who I am. I'm good saying I got anxiety. I'm good saying I got depressed. I think people crazy for not admitting the shit. Y'all out here, y'all wilding.
Out here looking like the Stepford wives, like, oh, we're just so perfect. You see, like, I've started being like going back to, I didn't went back to Facebook on that when I was younger, and I used to just didn't care put that. I be just speaking my mind on Facebook now because this is me. Like, I just made a status recently, like, that's cool that people look up to me and I inspire them. I'm trying to figure it out too, girl. Like, honestly, I don't even want nobody to think like, you know, like, I'm just human, just like you. Like, we all trying to figure out this thing called life. We all
and back to my favorite, my reality TV. I use these women as an example, although I just really like the trash TV, whatever. But I use these women as an example because women who are not confident, they look at them like, oh, she's so confident. She knows exactly what she wants. But that's why every episode they're crying. When you're a grown woman and you're crying over a man, you always have to fight and you always have to defend yourself. Their big thing is respect. Respect is such a subjective thing. Everybody, you disrespect me. No, I didn't disrespect you. I hurt your feelings because I told you the real. I hurt your feelings because I called you out on the fact that you need help and that what you're doing is not okay. If you're 24/7 angry and everything that somebody say to you, like literally can't nobody say nothing to me these days, because what do that mean? You call me a bitch, okay. And you say something about my band or about this, and right. I know where I'm at and I know what's going on. When you're that sensitive and you're that emotionally attached to someone else's words, it's because you need to get your life together. You need to get your life together, and it's just that simple.
And people do stuff to try to get your attention and to take you out of character. And it's so funny. I'm at like such a good place in my life, and I even have like such a good support system of when I be wanting to jump in, people be like, nah, girl. And I do the same thing for them. But it's funny because now I'm definitely able to control it better, because I'm definitely a person that can have an anger problem. I'm gonna say can have an anger problem. There's that other side of the spectrum. So I'm being very transparent. Like, I will throw them hands with anybody. I don't care. But that's not the answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really not. So I love that I was like, I had a moment the other day where I was just like, okay, I knew somebody was doing something to be petty on purpose. And you see everything on social media. And I was like, people grown, they can do whatever they want to do. And that's literally how you have to be, because nothing nobody else do, even if that is trying to do it to purposely get under your skin, it shouldn't even bother you. It really shouldn't if you at peace and okay with yourself. But if you're not okay with yourself, everything that everybody do, even if you know for a fact they doing it to get under your skin, it's going to bother you. I promise you that. But I'm at a place in my life where I'm like, people can do whatever they want to do. I can't make nobody act how I want them to act. Just like people can't make me act how they want me to act. I'm going to still be blunt as Misha. And
can you say this one more time? I want literally every person, if you're watching and if you want to share this with your friend, you cannot control people. We think that we can. We think that we do. It's just that people can manipulate any situation that they're in. You can't control people. Only thing you control is yourself. Exactly. Anybody that knows me from my past 10, 12 years ago, I was a beast. Like, I was on it. Like, there's nothing you could say to me. You're right. I am going to throw them hands. And I just really realized that I was a wordsmith and that I was a writer. I just owned that a couple of years ago, but I've always been good with my words. I've always paid attention to people, and I made sure that when I got with people, I hurt their feelings.
You got them snappy,
to make sure
comeback
that I did. Quick. Yeah, like it wasn't no mama or nothing like that, because I learned people and I knew about people. But then I realized, like, you can't do that. You can't just say whatever you feel because somebody hurt your feelings today. You can't do that. You have to watch your mouth and really be in control. And that's where I'm at right now. I look at certain stuff and I'm like, whoa, people only really knew the comeback that I wanted to say. Right. But there's no need for us to teach people lessons. We think it's our duty to teach somebody a lesson because they hurt our feelings or they said something off the wall to us. That lesson gonna be learned. That's not up to you. The lesson that you need to teach them is that I can't rock with you no more. If you feel the need to say those types of things to me and you're supposed to be a friend or a lover or anything of that nature, that's cool. You can keep that, but I'm going to get on to where I need to go. Exactly. But we still stay and then get upset when this person continues to verbally abuse.
Because they're going to keep doing it. Because they know what gets under your skin now. And I just want to ask you, Rachel, have you ever noticed too, because I'm the same way. I have a way with words, and people, like my roommate used to call me Machete, because he'd be like, you be quick with them words. Like I used to be on
my husband be like, girl,
I got quick comeback.
You do it too.
But do you ever, I had to get to a point one day of growing up, and you realize, like, okay, you get them back in a moment, you feel good about it. But do you ever really feel good? You don't. It makes your energy level go down. Like, and that's what I don't like. I don't like stooping to people level, because that make my vibration go lower, and then it messes with the rest of my day, because you're still gonna be thinking about it, even if you feel like you won that argument. I don't be having time for that. Like, I be trying to be in a good mental space. I be trying to enjoy my day. I love the feeling of being happy. And once I actually identify what being happy feels like, that's where I always be trying to stay at. I be like trying to stay at that level. So I just don't, I don't be having time to be getting back with people no more. So I'm actually shocked at this day and age that it's been a lot of times people that said little stuff, and I knew like you was trying to take a jab, and I just let it roll.
I
'Cause
surprise
at the end of the
myself
day,
more and more every day. Like, okay, girl, you did
right?
it
Like,
today.
I'm proud of you, girl. For real,
I would say that Jasmine Sullivan said it best when she said, "I bust the windows out your car, and even though that didn't mend my broken heart," it's the same concept. So although people might not literally be busting windows out, I realize that, yep, I'm throwing these jabs, and yep, I feel good temporarily, but I'm still mad. Because my problem is still not resolved. My problem is still that you don't respect me because I don't respect myself. And people don't get that. People don't respect you because because you don't respect yourself.
Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to do with whatever they're this and they're that and they mean and they all of that. No. People are going to give you what you put out. Don't nobody and then if somebody does disrespect me, whatever that might be to me, I'm not even really thinking about that. I literally, if people lash out at me, I always be like, oh yeah, it must be something going on with you, girl. Something going on in your life because I'm good. And I've done nothing to you. I've said nothing to you. And I can just tell from conversations I have on my Facebook, people are so emotional and they don't even see it that they can't even have a conversation about anything. You can't talk to them about anything. You can't disagree with them because their emotions that are all time high. And we need to bring our emotions down and bring our logic back up. We like completely lost all idea of what it is to be logical and to have critical thinking skills and problem solving. And when somebody does something, take a step back before we get to spewing off at the mouth. And it's really creating a lot of problems that people really don't see. From violence,
on your statuses. They be waiting for your statuses at the door.
But you can't touch me because I'm not emotional. I'm emotional about certain things, my family, my career, you know what I'm saying? But
I love your statuses though, because you're trying to start a conversation, which as adults, we should be able to have conversations and have differing opinions.
Why can't we
nobody take it personal. And I just love, I love reading like your statuses and a few other people because it's always so interesting to see like the comments that roll in.
Because when you're emotional, what happens is no matter what the topic is, whether it's Beyonce or mental illness, all you see is whatever your emotion goes to. So if it's about a baby, if it's about somebody talking crazy, you're going to hone in on that, and that's what you're going to talk about. I'll read some stuff like, what? How the hell did we get here? How did we get here? And I know I can kind of veer off track sometimes, and I kind of bring up other stuff, and I've been trying to work on that. But some things I'm like, oh, I see where you're at. You feel some kind of way about this because of your personal life, and we got to let that go. We can't even have general anything because people aren't dealing with their emotions properly. We're not talking to the right people. Like now I know what friends to call when I'm hyped up. I got 2 friends on my list because they're gonna keep it in reality. Like, okay, girl, you're not about to do this for real. You can't do
God
this.
Bless
that
those
sounds
friends.
cute.
God
like,
bless
no, you're not gonna
friends.
act a fool. No, you're not gonna do this. But they do allow me to vent. But they bring me back. Like, so next we're moving on. What we're gonna do? But a lot of people don't have that because everybody's just out here like we can just do whatever we want to do. That's why we're dying. That's why we're getting killed. That's why we're killing ourselves. We don't want to talk about it.
And that's
you might not be saying I'm ready to commit suicide, but you are with your sexual behavior. You are with the drugs that you're using. You are with the social media attention that you're reaching out to get. You are slowly killing yourself because at some point that is what's going to happen because you won't be able to handle it no more.
Yep. And that's why I said I'm appreciative of my support system. And that's what I meant. It's just those people where they know how I am. So they like, no, but they'll also give me a check. Like if I'm wrong, they'll tell me I'm wrong. If I go tell them the story.
It's cool.
Yeah, like, I don't really feel like you should feel like that. Okay, you gotta appreciate those people. I don't need friends that's gonna agree with me with everything. I don't, because them the worst type of friends you can have. Sorry, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people base that whole best friend thing off of that. Oh, they always agree with me. They always down to bust off somebody's windows. I don't want friends like that. I do not want friends that's gonna agree with me to do, because a lot of times we do be irrational about stuff. Even when I sit, you know what I do with myself?
95% of the time we're irrational.
What I do with myself is I sleep on it. If I feel the same way when I wake up, and usually I don't, then we will address it then. I've always been a very impulsive person, and I try to get away from that as I've gotten older. So like, that's the thing that I do with myself. I sleep on it. If I feel differently in the morning, then, cool. I know I was being irrational. If I feel the same or I feel strongly about it, then we'll try to figure out what to do from there. But don't nobody need to go to jail, or don't nobody need to say some stuff that they don't really need to say to somebody that's going to create even more issues. A lot of times we need to just bite our tongue and deal with it, as it needs to be dealt with as an adult. We can't
And
deal with
what
everything as
people
children. We can't deal with everything as children would anymore, you know.
and what people don't realize is being impulsive and those things are signs. I talk about it all the time. We see the bipolar depression commercials and we see everybody walking around sad and somber, which is a real thing. There are people who are like that. But during mine, I was on top. I was working. I was everywhere, but I had a lot of erratic behavior. But people push that off as spontaneity. Well, I'm being spontaneous. I'm just having fun. YOLO. No, no, no. Girl, that you sleeping around and doing all that, these one night stands, that's an issue. We can try to claim it as being, I ain't comfortable with my sexuality. No, girl, like, to a certain level, no, you're not. You're searching for something, and that impulsive behavior is where a lot of us are at. I can tell you, like, your habits, your mental health habits are bad. If you always gotta have something where you gotta just hurry up and do something, it's because you avoid to be feel that you don't want to deal with. You just can't keep making these impulsive decisions because everybody's one decision away from their life changing.
Yes,
from death, from terminal illness, from something you can't take back, from, you know what I'm saying? Just anything that could be that literally one move away. Yeah. And people don't understand that. We taking the whole YOLO thing too far. We're going to end up damaging ourselves and our children way more.
I'm gonna be very transparent about this, and this isn't anything bad because there has also been a lot of good from it. I probably say for the last few years, I swear to God, every year I done woke up at some point or just thought at some point like, damn, my life completely different from this time last year because it was one decision that I made that made my life go in a completely different direction. And that's literally what Rachel is talking about. Like, you're one decision away from everything changing. You know, like that we really
it only take one time to die, y'all. It only take one time to die. I mean, you don't have that many choices. I know we think we have all of these choices, but we really don't. I mean, we do, but with those choices come consequences. So yeah, you can go ahead and try that if you want to. And then when your life blow up and it's and shit, you're like, well, what happened? All because you was just trying to live your life. No, all because you're searching for something that you need to get help for, and that's okay. We can talk about everything else. You want to talk about slut walks. We want to talk about fake titties and booties and all of that, but you can't talk about your anxiety or your depression or the fact that you need better people to talk to. That's a problem for me, and we got to change it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I want to bring it back to the whole playing the victim, because I'm just curious as to, and I hope that hopefully we get an update going back to the main topic at hand. What's going to happen to this lady when she does realize she's being catfished? Do you believe that she'll probably just try to play the victim, or do you think she'll look back and say, you know what, I chose to remain in that situation when the signs were there?
Again, from my research and watching her on Dr. Phil, there's not really much that you can do for people once they've gotten into this state. Like, they can go to therapy, you know, if it gets to the point where they're harming themselves, then obviously they will put them in like a psych ward. So Dr. Phil asked her to stay off the internet for 30 days.
Yeah.
That was his, you know, kind of like mission or whatever. Because I guess if you don't have that contact, then that reality it's just like regular catfish. If you're not able to talk to this person or, you know, hear their words, then eventually it kind of just dies down. Or maybe you're talking to a real person or something of that nature. So in that specific case, she'll definitely try to play a victim because she will not realize her part in it, her part in being victimized. It's hard, you know, people, and it's levels depending on what kind of abuse you're using. People don't want to say that, oh, I put myself in this situation, because she did put herself in a situation, which a lot of people do. You put yourself in a situation with that man who you knew wasn't shit, who didn't take care of his first 2 kids. And then when he gets to yours, you like, well, what happened? You put yourself in a victim situation. It's hard to admit that. We see these signs of these people. We know somewhere deep inside, like, this not right. But we think that we're just so great that we're going to change this person. We're so great that we're going to change it around, or that something miraculous is just going to happen. And that's just not the case. So it's easy to play that, well, he played me. Well, he did me wrong. Well, he did this, he did that. No, you did this to yourself. And once people can get to that, they can move forward and will try not to revert back to that victim role.
The thing is that everybody wants to feel special. Everybody wants to be different. We're actually a lot alike as humans. And that's, you know, I think that's where a lot of issues in society stem from. We don't realize that. I like what I read in actually the Four Agreements last night, and this was in Not Jumping to Assumptions, that chapter. That was chapter 3, the third agreement. And, you know, there was a part in there that was just very cutthroat, and I agree. People don't change people. People change themselves. So we a lot of times we get into situations, friendships, relationships, whatever, you know, even dealing with family, and we feel like, well, I'll be the one to change them. Like you said, because we saw the signs before, we saw what they did with other people, but and you know, it's like we think that, well, me being here is gonna change them. They're not gonna change unless they change themselves. So I agree with that. I don't think that it has anything to do with anybody else. And it starts with that whole thing that we were talking about earlier. When that person decides that they want to stop bullshitting, then they will stop bullshitting. It's not gonna, we can beat the situation with the dead horse with a stick or whatever, right? We can yell, we can say all this stuff, we can motivate them. People don't change people, but we all want to believe that we're different and we have the capability to do that.
I'll use my husband as an example. Now, everybody know we've been friends. Most people, we've been friends since we were 12. So I've been through his relationships. He's been through mine. Like, we were real friends before we got married.
Right.
Now, when him and my stepson's mother broke up years ago, they were in a relationship. He took that time to find himself and become a better man. When he got to me, he was ready to be married. People always ask me all the time, dang, how you change this nigga tone? Da, da, da. I did nothing.
Right.
I literally did nothing. I was who I was since we met each other. But because he came in prepared, because this is what he wanted to do, it was easy.
Right.
I mean, we dated for like 4 months and then we got engaged right after. But we didn't have to go through the other process. But I say that to say, like you said, I didn't change this man. This man decided to change on his own. It's just so happened I was the one, and this is stuff, I mean, we used to say all the time when we was younger, like, we gonna get married. We was like 18 and 19. But that's something that he had in his mind. And he knew after that last relationship ended, like, okay, I really do want to get prepared. And he said he was preparing for me, but I'd be like, whatever, man. But I was on some trash, so he could be true. He could be telling the truth. But again, I just said to say he came in as a man wanting to be married, wanting to have his family together and do that. There was nothing that I did in this situation. And women so often go into these things like, you can't go into any relationship saying, the next person I date, I'm gonna marry. How you figure that?
Right. You don't
You
know
don't even know this girl. How you figure that?
You just gonna make it happen.
Have that mentality, they go in trying to do all of these things, and usually what happens is that man end up marrying that next woman. You train him up, and then he marries that next person because you're trying to do something that you're trying to make him do something that he's not ready to do. And that's what we do with people in general. We see that potential and all of that. Like, nah, man, I get it to a certain extent, but he has to always already halfway be there. Like, my husband wants to start the security business. He got his one side, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can help you with this side. But I didn't say, oh, I think you should start a security company and put in all this work. He came at me with 75% done. I just needed to do a little bit to help him get to where he needed to go. But we have to stop trying to force our sales and our business on other people. Like, we be trying to force that. Our children, our friends, our lovers, everybody. We can't do it.
I wanna ask you, do you watch Black Mirror?
I watched a couple episodes. We watched a couple episodes.
If you haven't watched Hang the DJ, literally
just
watch that episode. That was the best one this season to me because it talks. That was the theme of that episode, right? So these people they were on this island, whatever the hell they were at, in this program where they match you with people and they collect data of every person that they make you date. And every person that they match you with, there's an expiration date at some point. So, like, you go on a date with somebody, y'all check it on a little thing that looks like a Google Home. And they okay, how long is our time together? 3 months, 16 hours. Like, and it's funny because that's literally the way that life works, except we don't know ahead of time. So it is ridiculous to say you're going to marry the next person you meet because you don't know. You really
How many people do we see say that? I'm like, I read people's stuff like, what?
Yeah, girl, so I love you gotta watch that episode. You gotta watch that episode and let me know what you think because like literally I was like, this just mind fucked me, but I get it. Like I get it because this is exactly how we go through life. Every experience happens for a reason and it really shapes you for the person that you are gonna end up with, but you don't know who that's gonna be. You don't know.
But people have to understand, I do understand the same things happen for a reason to a certain extent, but people also have to understand that sometimes you're that reason.
Mm-hmm.
God, whatever you believe in, universe, whatever, that has nothing to do with it. You have a choice to go here or to go there. So sometimes you were supposed to go right and you go left. And when you go left, now you got a whole
different
path on how
path.
to get to where you need to go. We have to realize that we are making these decisions and these choices, and this is why. No, God didn't do this to us. No, it ain't the devil. Girl, it's you. Unless you the devil, it's you.
So that's
You're
what
the
I'm
one
telling
who
you.
made these choices. Like, we got to stop playing and be accountable for the things that we're doing or
But
not doing.
that's why you have to watch that episode, because it's funny. At the end, they both realized that, because first they were just letting things happen as they may, but then they realized we have a choice. We know we want to be with each other, and then they end up trying to escape the island, and then it starts all over again, and they meet each other in another world, don't even know that they didn't already met each other. So it's really deep. You got to watch it, because it's exactly what you just said. Like, you always have a choice, though. You do, because sometimes you are that reason that things happen the way that they do. It's very good. You gotta watch it.
Most of the time, we are the reason. Like, usually, always. People can't force you to do anything. But again, because we want to be a victim, we want to blame everybody. We want to blame it on our baby daddy. We want to blame it on our best friend. We want to blame it on our mama. Like, no. When your parents raised you, or whoever raised you for that matter, you had a certain amount of time. But you get to an age, 10, 11, 12, where you can start making decisions for yourself. Your parents have instilled, your grandparents, whatever, have instilled these things. We start making decisions for ourselves. Mm-hmm. We are usually the reason why things aren't going the way that we're going through. It's not the man. It's not that Negro you with. You know what I mean? It's you. And if he's bringing you down that much, why are you still with him?
Exactly.
Why you still hanging around your friends who really ain't your friends? Why you still hanging around with people? Because at some point, when people talk about not having friends, I'm like, oh, peace. Nope. You need to get on away from me. Why do you think it's valuable to not to be able to maintain relationships? Mm-hmm. That's a problem. If you ain't got no friends, if you can't maintain a friendship, I can't rock with you.
Or people
you can't do nothing.
They think, well, all I need is a boyfriend or a husband. I don't need no friends. And it's like, but your boyfriend and husband got his own friends. So eventually that's going to become an issue with you and him, because you don't have your own stuff going on. So you're relying on him just to be your only friend here on this earth. And that's really
I just think you're a fucked up person if you can't maintain one friendship or one relationship. Girl, boy, whoever you are, it's something wrong with you. Mm-hmm. And you take pride in that? Oh, no, you need to go on about your business. Leave me alone, because I don't have time for that.
Keep it real, Rachel. Keep it real, honey. So yes, we're gonna wrap it up, because I know it's Saturday.
Come say hi, Tony.
Oh, hey, Tony. Hey, cutie. So yes, we're gonna wrap it up, because I know it's Saturday and we all love our weekends.
Okay, I'm about to come read your book.
We'll leave you all with a final word. You can read my book now.
Because Moni's out in the living room.
Okay, I'm about to come downstairs. Okay.
Okay,
so I clearly have to go.
The nick of time, though. The nick of time. He like, yes, it's time to go. So yes, we thank you all for watching this show. We thank you all for commenting it. Like, share, comment, share it with somebody that definitely needs to hear this, because I mean, it's real serious out here. And I will be back next week to talk the imposter syndrome with the Bunny Hole blog. She's going to be my guest on the show. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about that from a different perspective of what you're used to hearing people talk about it in regards to. So definitely join us for that. It'll be on a Sunday, and I'll send out the information like I did with this one.
I did some cookies.
Yes. Say bye, Tony.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.